Okay, and that's Josh Coen, the inventor of the fantastic page, Kostakis, because this is my cat, of the fantastic page, Speak Good Human to train animal communication. It's great. Hey, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and your page?
Sure. Let me start though with telling you who I'm not, because that's it's something that professional communicators often will tell their backstories and say, "Oh, from an early age, I was able to speak with animals, and um, you know, telepathy has always been a part of my life. Maybe I expressed it at some point." That wasn't my story. As a child, I never was able to talk to animals. It didn't even come into my consciousness. Um, Even my psychic abilities, no, I didn't have that either. And when I started learning animal communication, it was hard for me. I struggled and I struggled and I struggled, and I couldn't imagine why in the world it wasn't happening for me. So that's where I came from, and that's who I'm not. But who I am is somebody who did struggle and did find a way to actually make it happen. And so from my background as a marketing advertising writer, and
Okay.
I'm in doing that kind of work, I'm able to kind of tap into what the reader or the listener would like to
Mhm.
hear or
Mhm.
needs to hear to understand something. And so I always kind of think that way in my communication. And so when I started learning animal communication, I was thinking, these teachers are great, but they might be missing some ways of teaching that not everybody's getting. So
Mm.
I I'm missing this and this and this, and I can see that some of the other students are also missing this and this and this.
Yes. Yes.
So I thought, I think we need a website that fills in the gaps and helps
Yes.
people, learn those things and know that they're not broken, they're not a failure. They can do this like everybody else. They just have to find the path that's right for them. So I created Speak Good Human, talktoanimals.weebly.com, and I started populating it with lots of articles and practice sessions, everything you need to kind of fill in those gaps if you're taking
Mhm.
a workshop or reading a
Mhm.
book or watching videos.
Mhm.
This helps you get on your way.
Mm. Mm. I,
That's who I am.
I have to agree with you. Me too. I went to two courses, and you have always, you have a group, and you have the people that get it very quickly, and the other ones that kind of, oh my God, I'm a
Yeah.
failure. And yeah, I do agree with you. So that's why you organized this group, this page, and of course, we're gonna do a animal communication course here, and of course, I'm gonna show my students your page. They'll be able to practice in it. Do you do animal communication now?
I do, but not for a living, not professionally for money. I just do it currently for fun and to better interact with the beings in my life.
do, do you have animals?
I have a dog.
Oh, what's his
She,
name?
Ginger Snap.
Oh.
She's also on the site to practice with, and it's funny because I don't know. I always thought it would be great to be able to talk with her, and I do. It can with animal communication. My wife does, my daughter does as well. But she has made it pretty clear recently that she just wants to be a dog also. She doesn't want to be this master teacher that you kind of hear sometimes your animal has all this wisdom to share, and it's a
Mm,
lot of pressure sometimes if that's not what you really want to do, and
mm,
people
mm, mm,
might look to their animals for that kind of thing. But she just wants to be a dog and be a part of our family and help us in her way, and we help her in
mm,
our way. And
mm.
so
Oh,
it's
great.
important to kind of have that perspective.
Yes, yes, it is. So you talk only to your dog, or have you tried other animals? Do you use your website?
Oh yeah, I use a website. Um, I have probably close to 100 conversations that I've documented that
Mm-hmm.
are on my website, and I've laid out all the conversations and all the challenges that I went through getting those conversations and just everything to help the learner to kind of see what it's like for one person at least
Mhm.
to go through
Mhm.
this, to what I'm experiencing and feeling and how I might have gone around certain problems and challenges to get
Mhm.
to a successful conversation. But yeah, I've had lots of conversations and they've been fascinating.
Yes, I was going
It,
to ask you this. Did you like it? Do you like doing animal communication?
yeah, it's incredible. It just, from somebody who has always loved animals in the natural world, and I know not everybody is like that, but I am. I've always loved that, and so to be able to interact in the world that way, to be able to communicate with things that the average person doesn't, and to kind of have a deeper connection with things, that's pretty cool.
Mhm.
It takes things to a whole new level and gives you a much broader perspective of why we're all here.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. They have a lot to teach us. Maybe not all animals like to teach, but some do. Where did you learn animal communication? In the States?
Yeah, in the States, or I should say from a teacher who's based in the States, but I actually started with, well, I found this book in a little bookstore one time, and it was about telepathic pets or something, and then I thought, whoa, what is this? That sounds like something I would like to do. But the book wasn't too helpful. It was sort of, you know, tricks and things that sound fun to do, but it got me thinking that why can't I do this? I don't know. So I started looking around and I found an online class, a workshop that was I think 15 weeks. And
Oh.
so every week 50 other people from all around the world would log into to the conference and get instruction from a teacher, and then
Mhm.
the alternative week we would have practice. And
Mhm.
so we just learned a lot, and that was my how I first started. I won't say that I actually learned how to communicate that way. That was part of my training because after 15 weeks I still really wasn't able to communicate and
Me
I was
too. Me
frustrated.
too. Me too. Me too. Me
Yeah,
too.
okay. So, they teach. I'm sure every teacher would love for every student to come out of there saying, "I love this. I learned it all. I can talk now." It's just not the reality for everybody. You have to find your own path. So I kept reading. I kept practicing a lot. Every day I would do something. I would practice. I would watch videos. I would do whatever, and then finally I was frustrated. And I just said, yeah, I put it down for a while. And I said, I don't know, maybe I'm just not cut out for this. I don't know. But then I had this idea. I was at this time already running the website.
Mhm. Oh.
So I had this idea of a challenge. So I had the Animal Communication Practice Challenge, which was 30 days.
Uh-huh.
It just was a way to say, okay, whatever happens, whatever's happening before, whatever happened after, we're going to do this. And anybody who wants to join me, go for it. So for 30 days, spend a little time every day, whatever you want to do, whether it's sitting with your animal, talking with your animal, with your voice, reading, anything you want to do, just something every day to practice, to move forward a little. And something about that challenge broke something free in me. And I think it was the idea that I'm just going to do this no matter what happens. Forget failure, forget success. Just do this and see what happens. And I started, even from day one of that challenge, I started having incredible conversations. I mean, it
Wow.
was amazing that I was finally able to do this. And so I participated, and I think we've had 3 or 4 challenges, 30-day challenges so far.
Mm.
And I've participated in every one of them, and they've all
Oh.
been incredible. I recommend it highly to anybody who, at any level, just to do it.
I've done one of your challenges. It might have been the first. When was the first?
Yeah, it was probably about at least 2 years ago.
Yes, I think I've done it. I've done it, but now I don't have time anymore, and I
I
do.
know.
But it's incredible. It's really very interesting. And there's your side, the other sides. You are in our group in Sacred Voices. So it's really amazing because it's like you said, you don't you take the pressure out and just say, I'm gonna do this no matter what.
Yeah.
So do you
Yeah.
think how many years do you have now the site? Have you put up the site?
It's probably been about 3 years. Three
Mm-hmm.
years now, maybe, because yeah, I'm pretty sure 3 years. I
Mm-hmm.
started it in the spring of 2015, I think. So yeah.
Yes, 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 yes. And do
Yeah,
you?
we had now we started out with just a few animals, and I
Yes.
thought, oh, wouldn't it be great to get to 10 animals? That would be a cool place to practice with 10 animals. Well, now we have probably 120 animals,
Oh
and
my
it's
God.
it's incredible. Yeah.
And they're so special, and each one has a personality. It's
Oh my
so
gosh.
amazing. Do you see everybody that logs in and that goes into practice? I mean, do you
I
have?
don't. No, I specifically keep it anonymous because I don't want anyone to have any pressure about
Mhm,
anything.
mhm.
They can come and go as they please. Nobody knows that they're there. Um, I can see visitor count, so I can
Yes.
know how many visitors are there, but I don't
Okay.
know who's coming. I know they're from all around the world. I know when we have the practice challenges, we get literally thousands of people from all around the world
Wow.
coming and
Wow.
talking to the
Uh-huh.
animals.
Uh,
But nobody's tracking you. The only way that anybody's going to know that you're there is if you actually submit one of your conversations directly to the people who are
yes,
connected
okay.
to the animal. So
Uh-huh.
then you get feedback, and that's a good thing. But I don't get involved in any of that. I just kind of keep the site running and
Mhm.
everything going smoothly, and putting new information up all the time.
Oh, great. So you have the numbers, though. There's thousands of people doing the
Yeah.
challenges, hundreds outside of challenges. Do you think everyone can communicate with animals?
Yes, but that's a complicated question because, like I said before, people like to say, oh, when they see somebody who's doing something really well, no matter what it is, they like to say, oh, that person's gifted and,
Mm-hmm.
born with the gift or whatever. What they don't realize is majority of those people aren't necessarily gifted. They worked really hard to get where they were, and they make it look easy now because they've worked so hard and they've really mastered what they do. But we're all gifted with
Yes.
animal communication and
Mm-hmm.
telepathy and any of that. It's a gift. We all have it. Some of us can tap into it a lot easier. Some of us never lost the ability, but we all
Mm-hmm.
have the ability, and it might take some people a long time to kind of nurture that again and get it going because we all have different personalities. Some people don't
Yes.
like the idea of believing that this can even exist. And so there's this huge block and the fear and all that along with it, and they go, I don't know, and they'll never get there. But if they can get rid of that and start believing, yeah, this is actually could happen. I am actually hearing these animals, then it can happen for them. So we're all on a different path, but it's possible for everybody. It just may be easier for some and more
Mhm.
difficult for others.
Yeah, you're very lucky because you live in the States and now it's becoming something common in the States. Here in Greece, and not many people know about it. It's a bit spooky for some people. It's very traditional society. When I organized once a seminar with an English animal communicator, Helen Davita, people used to call me and say, "Oh, what can I do with it? Can I work? Can I make money with it?" Um, and I said, yes, but would you do it for that? Do you think it's rewarding besides money, besides profession? It is rewarding to communicate with animals.
Yes, it is. And differently for everyone. So for somebody like me who's always had this really deep connection with animals and with
Mm.
nature and all that, it's incredible to be able to kind of take that relationship with everything to a deeper level. I can go out into the forest and I can talk to a tree. I mean, this type of stuff is just the same as talking to an animal. You can talk to a rock if you want. You can talk to a river. or a mountain. And it all sounds crazy, but once you get into this, it's not crazy and you're not making it up. So imagine being able to enjoy nature in that way, or talk, or your own animals in that way. It's incredible. Now, for some people, they may not have that affinity to animals. They may not, they may not feel that way about nature, or they may just be, a city person. They don't care about any of that. And to that, I'll say, fine, but still learn animal communication, or at least be aware that it exists, because that is the next step of our evolution. Whether you're an animal communicator or not, being aware of this world around us that can communicate with each other. They all are doing it already. We're left out. The humans are sort of getting late to the party here. Everybody else is already communicating. I mean, if you have more than one animal in your house, they're already communicating. That people are already reporting, herds of horses are communicating with each other, and they're even like a cougar or a tiger is communicating with its prey before it happens, and they say, "Are we okay with this deal that we're making here?" Yes, we signed on for that, and they're already communicating. So we need to get into the party here and start being more aware of what's going on, being more aware that our animals are deeper than we think, and that everything around us is already communicating with us, and everything's deeper than we think. So if you don't want to do animal communication, fine. Just start being aware. Start looking around and realizing something more is going on here.
Yeah. We're not the superior ones. We are the left out of the party, really.
And that's the thing, is humans think that we're the center of it all and everyone's here to serve us, and that's part of the awareness that I'm talking about. Is we're not. We're part of the world. We're not the center of the world. And as soon as we stop treating our pets like pets and start treating them like companion animals, other beings who are in our lives, they're not property, they're not party toys, they're not any of that stuff. They're not dumb either, because I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, yeah, he's kind of dumb," to my dog. He's kind of dumb, but he'll get it when he comes around. But the animals can pick up that energy.
Yes.
Just start being aware of that stuff. It makes a difference.
So you start communicating since the first challenge about 2-3 years ago.
Yes.
Do you think that changed you? I mean, have you learned a lot from animals or from nature that in a way change your personality or change your actions that you do now?
I think probably. I don't know specifically, but I'm sure it's changed my perception, because before I was coming from the perspective of, boy, I would really like to do this, and I'm trying and I'm trying and I'm trying, and I'm finally able to do it, and I think, wow, I am actually getting this, and I actually can do this, and maybe I'm more psychic than you think, and all this stuff. So you kind of start thinking of yourself a little differently, with a little more ability to interact in the world. So in that way, yes, it's changed me. And it's made me become more aware of the huge spectrum of personalities and the things that the animals are here for. They're all here for something different. It's not just for us. It's for them as well. And so all that has changed my perspective and kind of broadened my perspective. So in that way, yes.
Okay. Do you remember something amazing that ever amazed you, or the most important lesson, or the most important thing? Something that really touched you in that moment?
You know, I would recommend anybody who wants to hear a more detailed answer, go to my website and just read some of the conversations that I've had, because I'm somebody who really likes the deeper meanings of things, And so that's what the animals tend to bring me. And I've had these incredible conversations. They're not just, how was your day and what toy do you like best and what do you like to eat? I might ask some of those, but it's often a lot more.
Yeah.
But the thing that I've heard a lot from animals is just have more fun. It's don't take everything so seriously. And they're not just talking to me. It's like I would have these conversations with the animals, and I would be trying to get the details and show me your room, or show me where you eat, or show me the color of the couch, or just so I can kind of confirm, am I actually getting this? Am I not making it up? And the animals would be going, stop it, stop with the details. I just want to have some fun here. I just want to talk. Let's. And I've had so many of them where they would say the most funny things to me, and you would never think that an animal would have a sense of humor like that, and they do. And so that's a lot of the conversations have come back down to, don't take life so seriously. It's not all about work. You can still make work playtime. And, if you look at animals, pretty much any situation, they're making it playtime. They're making it fun in a way. So that's part of what they're here to teach us, I think.
If you were going to give an advice to people who are learning animal communication, how can someone get better at animal communication? Your personal advice.
Well, the main thing what people always say is practice, because some people it'll come easily to. You might, like you said, that first class that you go to, and there's always a bunch of people who pick it up right away, and you're going, what? How is this possible? And then you start feeling bad about yourself, and you feel like, I'm not getting this, and then you start fear sets in, and then you're afraid to even do anything, and then you're stuck. So forget going down that road, because everyone's path is different. And that's the most important thing to learn right now before you do anything. But for animal communication, everyone is different. Your path is different. When I learn it, it's going to be a different path than when you learn it.
Sure.
We might both start in the same class, and it might be a 15-week class, and by the end, you might be further along than I am, and I might have to then watch a few more videos, do some more practice, find a whole new technique, or 3 more techniques, or whatever. It's our own path. So that's a really important lesson to learn early on, is stop comparing yourself to others.
Exactly.
So if you start doing that, you're going to be lost immediately. Just realize, go into it thinking, okay, I'm going to learn animal communication. I know it's going to be my unique path. It's not going to be like anybody else's, no matter what another teacher says, or no matter what another student says, here's how to do it. That may be a way to get you there, but it may be a part of the way only. So realize that, set your goal, and then move forward. And your job is to find your perfect path. And it may be 3 classes, or 4 books, or some videos, or lots of practice. It'll get there when you find your perfect path. And then come by the website, because that's the way to practice. If a lot of people don't have access to a lot of practice situations, live practice sessions, or with a teacher. Sometimes they do, but this is a way to do it, anytime you want, and in private without a group. And a lot of people do like that. So on the website, there's, like I said, 120 animals, and there's lots of how-to articles. There's lots of tips and techniques to try, and I put as many as I thought were unique on the site, because I want people to realize there's not just one way. So if this technique doesn't work for you, try this one.
Yeah.
And don't give up, because you don't need to. Just because one doesn't work, it doesn't mean you're a failure. It doesn't mean you need to stop. It just means it's not quite your way. Let's try something different.
That is so encouraging. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very good. It's very. I think it's very important that people, like you said, be more open to nature and not only animals, but nature, plants, everything. That's a main reason. And I think animals and nature can help humans that have problems. Like you said, your dog didn't come here for a specific mission, but let's say a dog can help also a human being. In what ways do you think animals can help humans? Your personal belief, I mean.
Well, mirroring is a big
Mm,
concept in animal communication. It's not the only thing that can happen, but mirroring pretty much is your animal or an animal might kind of reenact what you're doing in its own life so that you can kind of get a different perspective. You may not be seeing something that you're doing that's kind of damaging to your life, but when you see your animal doing it or you see the
mm,
effects on the animal, you might go, oh, I didn't realize that. And that's all about awareness too, because it not everybody will notice that stuff in
mm.
their animal. And I've a lot of books talk about mirroring, and
Yes.
they might say stuff
Yes.
like, an animal might get some kind of illness like cancer, and you wonder why did my animal get this cancer? Well, there's been cases where they've documented where they've traced it back to the person's relationship, which
Mm-hmm.
was a really toxic relationship with somebody else, and
Oh
the
yeah.
animal was simply kind of filtering that for the person, and it became cancer. And so it was sort of a wake-up call to the person to say, oh my gosh, okay, as soon as they are aware of that, ditch this other person, detoxify their life,
Detox.
and then the dog or the animal would get better. It sometimes will work that way. So that's the concept of mirroring, and that's a big concept. But it's not the only thing that an animal is there for. I've also heard stories where the animal is there to help somebody write a book or to teach or to further their mission in life in whatever way
Yes.
they are.
Yes. Mm-mm.
So that could also be it. It could simply be companionship, because animals have their own missions in life. They're
Yes.
not just here for us, they're here for themselves too, and we're here to help them. So lots of different options out there. When you start opening up to this stuff, you start seeing, oh, it could really be anything that they're
Yeah.
here for, and they're here for a lot of things.
Yes. 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 It's infinite. It's really a time now of awakening. I have a teacher that says we are in the darkest times because we have a lot of wars, of crisis here in Greece, but at the same time is a time of awakening. Do you think
Yep.
animal communication is part of this awakening?
Yes, I do. But it's probably not quite as dramatic as that, because it's not just animal communication that's part of this awakening.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're there's always is a lot of chaos in the world. It seems there's always
Mm-hmm.
something going on these days. Yeah, we're in the middle of it, and does seem to be a lot of noise and chaos and stuff going on in the world, and people definitely are getting to be more sensitive about that stuff. In previous years, maybe a lot of people weren't as sensitive toward it, but these days they are. A lot of people are. And
Mm-hmm.
those people who are feeling all this chaos and the noise and are sensitive to it are kind of retreating back to their homes and their own sanctuaries and trying to block out that noise. And who's
Yes.
waiting for them at home is their companion animal,
Animals.
who is there with just love and companionship and not all the noise. It's very comforting for them.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a connection that maybe this world is trying to lead us to, is let's rethink our interaction with the world, because we're so busy fighting and arguing and making noise out there that we're forgetting these quieter connections that we can start having with the world around us. And it might start with your companion animal. So while you're hiding out at home and communing with your animal, maybe it's time to start really listening and thinking about how we can start better living our lives, more enjoyable, more satisfying, and your animal can teach you that too.
Yes, with more fun, like you said, to put more
Yeah,
fun in our lives.
yeah.
Oh, Josh, it was lovely talking to you. Oh, just a minute. Kostakis, you want to say hello to Josh?
Oh, yes.
Oh, he doesn't. Hi,
Kostakis.
darling.
Hi. I've only known Kostakis from his picture.
Picture and sorry, darling. Oh, there you are. He was asleep. It's very hot. It's very hot now in Greece.
Oh,
So thank you so much for the interview. It was lovely talking to you. It was really very important points that you said, that you clarified for us. And let's keep working together to bring awareness
that,
around us, not only our friends, not only New Age, but to normal people, really normal
yes.
people to see it.
Yes, that's where it's at.
Thank you so much, Josh. Ευχαριστώ πολύ. And do you have any question, anything else to say that you'd like to?
No, I just don't give up. Everyone who's listening, don't give up. It's all possible. Just find your own path, and that's the
Yes.
most important thing to learn.
Yes. Thank you so much, Josh.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.